Well, hello and welcome back to my craft room. My name is Sue and this is S Creations Crafts. If you haven't been here before, if you have, thank you and welcome back. I kind of missed 2024. I didn't craft much at all, so it kind of feels good to be back in my room and crafting. Unfortunately, today's project isn't exactly how I wanted to start 2025. I needed to make some sympathy cards. So I'll go ahead and I sped it all up because it actually took almost an hour to make the cards. And I know in crafting that's not very much time, but it seemed like a long time, especially for a video. So I sped up a lot of the coloring for you. So as I'm talking, you'll be looking at how I made the card. So let's get to it. I do have all the links below for the colors that I used, but most of the products I did use a Simon Says Stamp stencil for the background, and I am making 3 backgrounds because I needed 3 sympathy cards. I have the same process for all 3, but I did use different colors and a little bit of different blending techniques to kind of give a different effect. But the final card will have just one. I only did one card this video. So maybe in the next video, I'll show you how I did the other 2. But for this video, I just did one sympathy card. So I did the ink blending with GinaK's inks, and I used a total of, I think it's like 6 colors. Like I said, it's down below. For the background, I moved the stencil different directions to kind of get the clouds in different, here I'm moving, sorry about that. I tried to get the clouds in different locations each time. So when you move the stencil around, you have different options of how you want the clouds to go. Also, there's some clouds in the middle, but I didn't use those. I didn't kind of feel the need for that. So I just went, and when I did I hope this is making sense, but when I did the clouds, I did the first color, the blue, on the stencil, and then I kept the stencil there and I just used the other colors going up the cloud to the next layer that I did previously. So I kind of, and I used the purple, and I used, I forget what Dusty Rose for this card that you see here. And I just kept going down the road the whole time. So that's what I did for the stenciling, and you'll see that I did that. And this took a little bit of time. I know as a beginner crafter, we think it's going to go real fast. It takes time just to get the blending the way you want it. Now I did have some mess ups, and you'll probably see it later, but I was able to work around it when I made the final card. So I have a little bit of ink that when you first put it on the card, it blotched. And what are you going to do? It's just the way it is. It's the way I made it. So what happened to 2024 while we're looking at this? I don't know what happened to 2024. It just was a whirlwind. I just didn't get back into my craft room at all. Um, we had some work that needed to be done at the house, so that involved we had to get new carpet and new floors. That involved moving all the furniture from the house into this room, so there was no way I could get to anything, and that took a little while. Then I broke my foot, so that kept me out of the craft room. Probably didn't need to, but it did. I just wasn't in the mojo to craft at that point. I just was in a boot for, I think, a boot for like 2 weeks. And so I didn't get much done. Then it got to be gardening time. So then you have all your gardening to do. I did tomatoes, beans, squash. What else was in there? I tried carrots. They didn't do very well. A lot of different tomatoes this time. I did some beefsteak tomatoes, and I did cherry tomatoes. And then I did some yellow squash, zucchini. And I don't know. Everybody talks about the zucchini, that it grows like abundance, but not here. I didn't get any. So maybe next year. So back to the card for a quick second. Here I'm switching to the next background that I did, and I used the sweet mango, the soft stone, I think it is, and the powder blue. And I did another background, and you could see the different colors for that. And it gave a little bit more of a somber yellow. It was what I was looking for, a little bit more of a grays, but the yellow just kind of was a little bit stronger than I thought. And then here I'm going for the third panel, which I did more of the sweet corn, which is a softer yellow than the mango. And I did the moonlit fog, which is more of a gray. So again, but it kind of came out a little bit more like a baby card. But here you can see the three choices that I created from that same technique, the same background. Then I used her stamp set, Peonies and Poppies, or Poppies and Peonies, and it had both the flower and the sentiment that I was looking for. So I used just this one stamp set, and again, the name of it's down below if you need it. Yeah, I used the Ohuhu markers. I do have a few Copic markers, and I was using Spectrum Noir, but I did get the Ohuhu markers, and I'm really trying to use those. There's a lot. I got the whole set, so there's a lot of colors. So it was kind of difficult to narrow it down to the blending that I want. And I did find that, and I'll put the colors down below for each section that I did. I started with what I thought was the darkest, then the medium, and the light, the typical blending techniques for the leaves, and you'll see for the flowers. So back to why I wasn't in my craft room. So then after the gardening, and I had to can. I canned a lot of stuff. I canned salsa, tomatoes products. I the carrots, I did freeze a couple of those, shredded them and froze them for um, carrot cakes. We had figs. Oh, I had tons of figs. So I made fig jelly or fig jam. Plums this time normally I just end up they're just the little baby plums. I end up throwing them away. They drop on the ground and the gardeners pick them up. But this time I picked them all, or a good portion of them, and made some plum jam. Yeah, plum jam. And then I also got to have a plum tree with bigger plums, and I made hopefully some a plum crisp. I tried it once; it came out, so I did some plums in a sauce. So hopefully next time I want to make a plum crisp, it's just there. We had some cherries, so I did a bunch of cherry stuff, cherry fillings for pie fillings. So I did try to make a cherry pie. It came out. I need to practice more on that, but we did do a lot of that. So here, also on the card, I switched to the purples because I wanted to incorporate the card that had the purple in it. So I put some purple flowers in here, and I do color the poppies a purple, and you'll see that in a few minutes. Again, I sped all this up. It does take a long time to blend these colors out. And it's not that the markers take a long time, it's me as a crafter. It took a long time. I'm sure if you're comfortable with blending, it's a lot easier to do, but I'm not that comfortable with coloring yet, so it took a little time. So let's see, that puts us back into the fall of 2024, and then I just wasn't feeling it yet. I didn't even watching videos of everybody making Christmas cards. I wasn't in the mood to make Christmas cards. I just thought it was not here yet. And then next thing you know, Christmas is here, and I didn't even make one Christmas card. And for those of you that know me, I usually send out lots of Christmas cards. I make a lot of cards. I didn't do any this year. And yeah, kind of a weird, strange, I don't know. I heard a lot of people say Christmas was too close to Thanksgiving, so it kind of threw everybody off. As you can I still have my bins for my Christmas decorations in my craft room. I still have my tree up. Don't judge. I just haven't felt like taking the tree down. It's red and white. I may say keep it up there till Valentine's Day. I'm just kidding. But so it's still up and it needs to go back into these boxes, all the decorations. I'd rather be in my craft room. Uh, you know, it just felt that I needed to be back in here. And then let's see what else happened in 2024. I mean, that was it just, oh, and then in the middle of the summer, oh, I don't know if you guys had this anywhere, but it was 119 degrees outside. It just like it seemed to go on for days, the hunt over 115. So I pretty much just melted and didn't do anything. Um, on this card, I did switch to the reds here and I blended out the three reds. And I'm pretty happy with these three reds for a reddish pink color. I was real pleased with this blend of, um, I, I wrote it down below, but can't remember the exact name. It's listed down below, but they blended really well. It's one of the better reds of flowers that I've done in all the time. I mean, like I said, I've used Spectrum Noir and I've done Copics. Now I didn't have the whole thing of Copics. I just had a few, and I never got the colors that I'm looking for. And these Ohuhus, I really like this pink red for the flowers, and it just popped right off the page the way I wanted. So that's why I keep going. Now this, because there's a lot of petals in this flower, it was a lot of turning and going back and forth. And even though it has some small areas, I still felt I needed to do the three colors. You probably don't, but I felt that I needed to for my coloring experience, just to get that lighter part to kind of pop out. But yeah, I was kind of, I'll be honest, I was kind of pleased with the way this one came out. And then I did go back in and put in a little darker red for some shading around the flowers. And I hope you like it because I'm really I'm kind of pleased with it. Let me know. It was just one of those things. And then let's see what else. So I'm hoping in 2025. I mean, it's not starting off the greatest having to do sympathy cards, but I'm looking forward to being back in my craft room, making cards, making crafts. One thing I did do in the summer is I crocheted a full cardigan sweater, which that took some time, but boy, first time I'd done a full sweater and I really like that. So I hope to get back in here and do some more fun projects. And I hope you stay along with me and join me each. I don't know how often I'll be. I know people like to know how often. Just put the notification bell on so you're aware because it may be weekly, it may be once a month. I have to get back into it again. And we do have things coming up in 2025 that I do need to take care of. And gardening is going to be back again, and I really enjoy my gardening time, so maybe I'll have some videos out there. But yeah, so just put the notification bell on, subscribe, and so that way you're notified when I'm going to be back in my room. But I really do apologize for not being here for 2024, and I do hope to be out here in my room more. I enjoy this. um, I have more stamps coming than I ordered, so I hope to have those in the next month or so. More techniques, and let's see. Again, so you can see here I did cut out. It has a die on the stamp set, so I die cut this because I wanted to put it on the background. I did have to tape it down quite a bit because it seemed to like wasn't lined up really good for me, so I taped it down before I die cut it. And I do have the Anna Griffin Empress, which you could see. Nope, you can't. Oh yeah, it's over there. The Empress machine for that, and it cut it with no problem. And then for the sentiment, I had in the stamp set it says with sympathy, and I uh, did that in black. I think it's black onyx or black that Gina uses, but it could be any um, black ink that you wanted or any color. I just happened to have that black out. So I did that. And then I kind of lined up the flowers before, and then I glued it where I wanted it to. Now, I did not cut off the tips that are hanging over the edge. I cut this card down a little bit. And then I didn't cut it off because I wanted to, when I put it on the card base, I wanted it to extend onto the card base. So I cut it off after I glued it to the card base. I cut it around that part. I didn't just want it to be up against the white. You could have done that, but I just waited until I cut it on the, see how it's, I didn't cut it yet. And then I just used the score tape to put it on the card. I like to use score tape when I'm putting the card base on the card so that it doesn't peel off. I find that glue, sometimes it doesn't stay as much as I want it to, especially if it's going to be going in the mail and handled. I'd rather have the score tape. So now after this, the parts that are hanging off the green is what I cut off of there in order to, have it off the card. So again, I hope you enjoy this card. It was actually fun to make, even though it is a sympathy card. I do have other ones, and I'll show you what I did for those in the next video. But again, thank you for joining me today. Let's make 2025 the best. I'm pretty excited for it, even though it didn't start off great. We'll just have to move forward, and I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you.